is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Collider Interview Studio at Fantastic Fest 2023. I'm so excited. This is our last interview of the festival, and it's with a Collider alum who made a movie, Clarke Wolfe, the shining example.
Oh, hi, Perri. I'm so glad that we're getting to do this.
This is the coolest thing ever that I'm sitting here interviewing you for your short film.
It's such a nice full circle moment, and I'm so honored. So thank you for having me.
Meant to be, especially after we've had many a discussion about The Shining too on top of that.
Yes, I saw even on Twitter that our Shining YouTube channel or YouTube video popped up again.
It comes up a lot.
Yeah. And I was like, well, we shall be reuniting to talk about The Shining very soon.
Okay. So I know what The Shining example is, but a lot of people out there don't just yet. So can you give a brief synopsis of your short?
I can. The way I've been sort of explaining it in like one line is The Shining with a mom. And, you know, the origin of that was, as you know, and as the audience knows, you know, I have been talking about movies and analyzing movies, specifically horror movies, for a very long time. We've talked about The Shining many, many times. And so I was doing a show on my Twitch channel called Fear HQ, and where we were breaking down, you know, genre films. And so I did The Shining and I did Sinister. And then I started kind of picking up on, I was like, you know, there are a lot of movies made, and there are a lot of genre movies made specifically about creatively frustrated dads who take that out on their family. But I don't think I've ever seen that with a mom. And what does that look like? And so that is sort of where it kind of came from.
This is not a mom, but your film paired with stop motion, just in terms of like a creatively like frustrated woman who's trying to find her own voice and break through. It's just the perfect pairing.
I was so thrilled when I submitted to Fantastic Fest. I did not know if I was going to get in. Obviously been coming here for many years and wanted this to be my world premiere, but there was no guarantee. The shorts competition here is very tough. And then when we were accepted, that was amazing. But then I found out we were paired with a feature, and I was like, oh my God, what a compliment. And I read the synopsis and I went, wow, this is great. Yeah. They're so different. They're wildly different. And yet the broad strokes were really compatible. So it was a really fabulous, on Sunday night when we did have the world premiere, it was my world premiere and Robert Morgan's for stop motion. And it was a really cool experience to get to see kind of come together.
Oh, I could imagine. All right. So you have acted in many a film. This is your first time as a director, though, on one, right?
Yes. So, during COVID, I was working a friend of mine who actually co-produced this movie, Buzz Wallach, he created something called Just Scare Me. And so the point of this is just make a short film. It just has to have a scare in it. It's a collaborative sort of teamwork thing. It's an accountability group. It's not a contest. Just every 2 months, make a short film, sign up and make a short film. So it's really, and it's just about doing it. So he encouraged me to do something. So I had directed, like 2 iPhones, 2 oneers, they're together in a Zoom call or like a Skype call or whatever. So that was but that's it. 2 oneers and 2 iPhones. I mean, there's no crew or production value or any of that. And so when this is the first time I've ever done anything like this with a real budget and a real crew and real people behind it. And so I was so happy to get to bring Buzz along for that. But yeah, it was the first time ever doing anything like this.
So choosing your first project as a director is a big deal. What was it about this particular story and these themes that you thought aligned well with the skill set you already had as a filmmaker?
That's a great question. I mean, well, so I act in the movie as well. And I should say that the shorts, just for your audience, in case they don't know, the shorts contract with SAG and the WGA is not struck.
Yes.
But of course, I certainly am a member of SAG, and I support all of my, brothers and sisters and family and all of the unions, and hope that the SAG feature and TV agreement will come soon. But that said, I wanted this to be my first thing with a real budget and a real team, because I felt like I had something to say. I felt like, especially in the genre space, like this type of acknowledging sort of a part of the human existence and like relationships and motherhood and things like that. I don't feel like I've seen it before. So that is a big part of why I really wanted this to be the first thing. And I do act in the movie, and there's part of it was creating the roles that you want to see,
yes.
like that you would want to play yourself. But also part of it was I have 2 days. There is no room for error here. And I know at the very least, I will know my lines. I will know my marks. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
2 days, my God.
2 days. Yeah. 2
Anxiety
days.
just hearing that.
Yeah. 15-page script in 2 days.
I have so many follow-up questions.
Yeah.
The first one, because you did refer to this as your first time working with a real budget, which I very much understand. What is the first like real budget, like crew member or like piece of gear or something that you acquired that made you think, I'm so excited to get to use this?
Wow, that's such a good question too. You know, for me, I will admit, going into this, as an actor, when you're on camera, you need to know your lenses, you need to know your angle. Like there are certain parts of the technical aspect of being an actor in film and television that you need to pay attention to the gear and those types of things. But I will be honest with you, that is not my forte. However, it is very much Zach Voitis's forte, who is my DP. And Zach it was the first time I had ever met him. We did not know each other before, but we hit it off so well. And we really spoke this like communal language of movies. So like, I'm sure you probably picked up on some of the lighting, the dinner table scene. It feels like Hereditary in a lot of ways. That was intentional, the warm colors and all of that. And then, there was one moment where we were on set where something wasn't quite working. And Zach said, well, what about this? And I'll give you that Sam Raimi thing that you like. And I was like, yes, exactly. Thank you. You get it. So Zach Voitis was really, for my money, like the biggest, best find that I could. And, real talk, I was intimidated as a director, not that I didn't know that I couldn't get the shots, and I knew what I wanted, of course, and I knew how to work with actors, of course. So I felt good about all that. But what I was nervous about was a crew looking at me like she doesn't even know anything about lenses. Is she a real director? And Zach never, ever, ever made me feel that way. When we were setting up shots, when we were doing the walkthrough, he would say, okay, come over here, look at this, tell me what you think. Do you like that? So Zach was just the most wonderful collaborator, and I want him to shoot everything I ever make for the rest of time.
What a wonderful quality. Because we do also emphasize the value of having a director who's a leader that brings everyone and their vision together. But it's also important for it to go the other way and for a director to feel well supported so they have the confidence to actually do that part of the job.
Yes, I mean, this crew was outstanding. And there were so many people from our circle. Holly Payne did the costumes, which was really, really fun. There's so many people that kind of came to play, which was great. But yes, I feel like what I learned on this set was hire the best people you can. And then you that's your job to make it all work is really just to hire people who you've got to communicate exactly what you want so they know their job, and then let them go do what their job is. And that was, I think, one of the things that I really loved about directing was like, I feel comfortable delegating and I trust you to do what it is that you're here to do. It's really just management, So, and then of course the creative part.
Yes. But it's all about being creative, but also being like kind human beings and actually turning your company into a family.
Exactly.
Or at least I'm a big believer that should happen.
And I hope that we created that environment on set.
I get the sense that you did. Okay, so you're directing and you're also starring in this. Very experienced actor. What is something you learned about the craft of acting by finally getting behind the lens and directing actors?
So something that I think is really interesting, especially during COVID, I'm sure you all have heard about self-tapes. So this has become super common now when it comes to auditioning. And so really, most actors at this point are directing themselves when they're auditioning. So this whole, I always encourage actors to get over this whole thing of like, I don't like watching myself. It's like, well, welcome to self-tapes. You're going to have to watch every little thing for the rest of time. But what I learned about acting from directing myself in this capacity was to have people on the other side of the camera that you trust. So like, but to use the example of my producer, Buzz, he's directed me in things before. He felt we had decided beforehand, okay, if you catch something that I don't, we need another one, you can lean over and say, you need another one. And so but the other thing I would do next time that I didn't quite do is when you're in it, you're thinking about a million things, but then it's time to focus on the acting. I would write myself direction notes on my script so that I could look at them before we started rolling and went, yes, that's right. I wanted to think about this, or I wanted to remember this, and then put that away. So just because your brain is just all over the place. So I kind of direct myself on paper a little bit so that I could forget, or didn't forget. But that was something that I think I'm going to try on the next one.
Okay, one more directing actors question for you. Again, experienced actor. What is something a past director has done for you as an actor's director that you wanted to do for your cast, but then I want the opposite, something that you wish more actors, directors did that you made sure to channel here?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, Anthony de Blasi, who directed Malum, there's something that's going to come out on the Blu-ray that you will be able to see. He got the coverage he needed. I'll speak as a director. Anthony, when he directs, he gets what he needs, and then he throws you a curveball. If he's got time, he's like, now let's just try something. And so as a director, Anthony did that on the set of Malum in a safe way, of course. It was performance-based, not like, stunt-based or special effects-based. And they rolled on it. And it's gonna be on the Blu, and I've seen it, and I was like, I felt like I was like, wow, that's actually me acting, and it was really special. So I love a curveball.
What a beautiful reaction to have to something like that too.
It was.
I love that.
I adore Anthony de Blasi, and will do anything with him forever. But so I like when, as a director, when I've got it, I like because I am an actor, I like letting actors not play around. I like giving them an alt and then seeing what they do with it. So in this film, Andy Cohen, who plays Jeff, Andy's an incredible actor. He's a director himself. But there's a scene where, towards the end, where Jeff is really... He's not listening, and then you see him listen for the first time. And if you do know which moment I'm talking about,
I do.
Okay. And so, he was doing it just how I needed it, giving me like checked out, giving me aloof, giving me whatever. And the direction I gave him was, okay, now I want him to hear her and really understand what she's saying. And that's the take that's in the movie. And everyone on set kind of was like, oh, wow, well, now we feel bad for him. And so you'll see it eventually, but it was a beautiful moment. So I wish more directors did that. And then, and it's something I was able to do on my set as well.
I love that. All right. Before we wind down, I want to make sure to touch on the post-production here a little, because there's a lot of editing choices that are absolutely vital to putting you in her head more so than just the material that was shot on set during production. So how much did you have all of that mapped out and storyboarded, and how much did you wind up finding in the edit when you could actually play around with things like quick cuts, color changes, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So I will tell you, one thing I did not get was a clean shot of the door. And that seems like 101, directing 101. The door to these offices, to these rooms in this house are very important, because what's going on behind the doors, whether it's with my character Aiden or with Andy's character Jeff. But nonetheless, I missed that one. Oops.
It's always something. It's always something little that you don't realize.
Yep. But we figured it out. And by we, I mean Tom Newell. So Tom is just a veteran of genre editing. He's an editor on Chucky. He's an editor on for the VHS films, post-production supervisor. I mean, Tom is an incredible editor, and he knows the genre so well. So we really played around with certain things, and then got creative. If we didn't have something, we fudged it a little. I can give you an example. There's a dinner table scene. We shot in this beautiful home, and it has these beautiful archways, and I wanted to push through the doorways, and the family is far away in the background. And I realized we like got it going in, but we didn't get it going out. So we just the same take and we reversed it.
Makes all the sense
and
in the world.
You'd never know. and it looks great and it works. And with I'll tell you a funny story. Okay, so as you know, in The Shining, Croquet Mallet is a big issue, is a big prop in the novel. So we have a croquet set. Another thing I made a mistake about, and this was my fault, we have an incredible production designer, Allura, and she gets the croquet set, and different colors on the mallets, and Aiden's color is red, the daughter's character is purple, like there's all those little color schemes. Okay, then I realize these are teeny croquet mallets. They're real small. This is gonna look real silly. And that was another thing where I was like, yeah, and I approved this. I approved this hero prop. Oops. But as a result, we were able to shoot it in such a way. And then Tom and I were able to fudge a little bit, like push in a couple of times to make it look a little bigger so that you don't really catch that.
I didn't notice. That's for sure.
Good. That means we did it.
That's what making movies is about.
Truly.
It's about doing what you think is best in the moment, but working with what you got. And we have so many credible tools and creative minds that you can kind of make anything work now.
Yes.
I love that.
It was great. We found a lot of that in post. So that was, but in terms of the visions and getting inside Aiden's head, a lot of that is through visual style. And of course, we replicated a lot, throwback to Stanley Kubrick's imagery, which you will see when you see the short and so on. But we knew that was going to be a part of it. We were directly nodding at Stanley Kubrick's film and the way he lets you inside of what's going on. But then, of course, I think that there are moments that are more emotional that hopefully you go a little deeper with Aiden versus maybe Jack.
Very, very effective. All right, you're getting one of my last questions that I've liked asking during most of these interviews because this is my first Fantastic Fest.
I can't believe that.
I'm a little shocked it took this long. I'm glad it finally happened, and now I get what everybody else tells me about it, and I have a feeling I'm going to need to come back over and over and over again.
Definitely will.
It is a community of horror lovers who are happy to be here to support each other. But I've also heard so many stories about people seeing something, being inspired, and feeling like they need to go off and create something else. Yeah. Can you pinpoint something you saw in somebody else's movie that made you go, damn, that's cool, and I am inspired by it?
Oh my gosh. The example I always think of with Fantastic Fest, it's just burned into my brain, is a Mexican genre film called We Are the Flesh. I don't know if you've seen it. Okay. Well, I saw that here. I saw that here. And it was close to a midnight screening. And I was like, wow, just wow. I will never forget this. And, those types of, that's what I come to Fantastic Fest for. There's a movie called Better Watch Out that I had a very negative reaction to in the theater. And I remember talking to the programmers via email about they were they were being very curious and sensitive, but they were like, do you think we shouldn't have shown this? And I said, oh, no, you absolutely should have. That's why I come here, to be challenged. And so that's what I love about exploitation and genre and all of that is I'm seeing things and experiencing things that are meant to make me uncomfortable and challenge the way that I see things and I do things. So I bring these examples up because they're things that I'll never forget, and they are inspiring. You come here and you see things from all over the world and what other people are doing, and it's inspirational all over. Forging new ground within genre is what I come here to see.
So true. I'm addicted to this place. I want to come back. The only thing that might hold me back from getting a tattoo tonight is that I'm convinced I'm going to come back in the future. So maybe I want to leave the door open for other options down the line.
That people have sleeves of all the little ones kind of so you could be that person.
I'm prone to doing stuff. You're supposed to keep me in check right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Think twice about it. Don't do it.
I've literally signed away my life for everything this festival has to offer. I am so glad I got to see your movie and celebrate with you and have you back on the Collider YouTube channel. Oh my God. Congratulations. As always, I am rooting for you.
Thank you, Perri. This was such a wonderful full circle moment, and I can't thank you enough for your support. Thank you.